Eddie Money dies. Ric Ocasek dies. We've got aliens. Today's video is sponsored by Native Sons Goods, makers of the highest quality woven guitar, bag, and camera straps you'll ever see. Native Sons straps are handmade one at a time in the USA with unparalleled love and care. Click the link in the description to check out their new expanded lineup featuring all new 3-inch guitar straps. And remember, when you support my sponsor, you support this channel, and I sure appreciate it.
Hey y'all, it's Shitpost Friday.
It's time for Shitpost Friday. Okay, so the news is pretty crazy this week, so bear with me on this because there's a lot to get through. First of all, I wanted to talk about this. So this organization led by Tom DeLonge of Blink-182. Actually, you know, they've had a couple pretty good albums, I have to admit. Their album, Enema of the State, really great album. I mean, there's not a bad song on it. If you're into pop punk, it's an acquired taste. I know a lot of people who are into, like, you know, hardcore punk, hate bands like Blink-182. I get it. I understand why. So anyway, that's who Blink-182 is. But this organization, led by their frontman and principal songwriter and singer and guitar player, Tom DeLonge, released these videos a while back showing some UFOs. The United States Navy has actually come out and said pretty much point blank that these are real videos. The videos are not doctored. They were actually retrieved in the field and they're verifiable and whatever. So the U.S. Navy has confirmed these videos not only exist, but they're real. Something that would have just been unheard of in decades past. You know, so I love the Trump era. See, I don't think you would get shit like this in any other era that just wasn't bonkers, you know what I mean? And to top it all off, also, tomorrow, on Friday, I think this is the day that the people are supposed to storm Area 51, so this story comes out right before that. Also, we had the death of Ric Ocasek, which, I mean, these have got to be connected, right? Pretty alien in a lot of ways. Very sad things happened in the last few days. Also, the death of Eddie Money happened last Friday, which also happened to be Friday the 13th. You know what I mean? It's like, what the f***, dude? For those of you who don't know what the significance of Friday the 13th is, it goes back to, I believe, the year 1507. And no, I did not just Google that. I believe it's the year 1507 or no, it is 1507, I believe. Because my wife and I were married in 2006, Friday, October the 13th. And I chose that date for a purpose because I knew that I would remember that date. And what that reminds me, and it's actually coming up. So you guys remind me in the next couple of weeks, my Eddie Money dies. Ric Ocasek dies. We've got aliens, at least confirmed by the U.S. Navy. Not aliens, but you know what I'm saying. Unidentified flying objects. Actually, the U.S. Navy has started to call them unidentified aerial phenomena, which actually makes a lot more sense if you think about it, because there are other possibilities besides flying objects. They don't necessarily have to be objects, do they? They could be tricks of light. Could be some projection on clouds or some kind of reflection. You know, like I'm not ruling anything out. That's basically what the Navy is saying here. So they've kind of done away with UFO. It's now UAP. We have coined a new term. Eddie Money's dead. Ric Ocasek's dead. We've got aliens. Ric Ocasek is an alien, was an alien. He's actually taken back off on his spaceship. Just a really great songwriter, though, you know? I mean, both of those guys, actually. Eddie Money also. You know, when you look back through their back catalog, you cannot deny that those two dudes knew how to spin a yarn. You know, lyrically and also melodically. Just a couple of, you know, real icons from the 80s, to be honest. And it's kind of sad that both those guys are gone. So all three of those things kind of happening within the same week, I think, is a bit appropriate. Those guys deserve to be remembered, and they deserve a good send-off. Thought this was kind of interesting too. You know, we talked a couple weeks to Dave Roussan, who was the builder of the first cloud guitar that appeared in Prince's Purple Rain movie in the 1980s. But Prince gave a guitar to the Smithsonian Institute in 1993. If you guys are outside the United States and you don't know this, the Smithsonian is like an enormous museum that houses like the best of like artifacts from human history, but in particular United States history. But Prince gave them this guitar in 1993, and they just apparently have found out that this pretty much has to be the guitar that was in the Purple Rain movie, and it was just repainted by him at some point. So a pretty interesting article if you guys want to check this out. But you know, this kind of confirms what I was saying in that Dave Roussan interview video, that, you know, just this Prince stuff just happened. It just seems jettisoned into the, you know, public consciousness right now for some reason. And I would, you know, it has to be PR. His estate has hired a PR team to go out, you know, and get whatever money they can from the Prince image and name. And so, you know, that's why you see these things like them going after Dave Roussan for the trademark for the Cloud guitar. You know, just things like this you just kind of start to pick up on when you realize, when you've worked in journalism or you've worked at a magazine, you see how, you see what drives that content, you see what drives their motivations, you know, the people who run companies like that, and nothing surprises you anymore. You know, I want to show you guys something too that kind of reminds me. I've been meaning to ask your opinion on this, because here's what I sometimes have happening. Okay, I get emails from people, you know, from China or from Chinese companies, and they're like, "Hey, you know, we really love video you do. Video great, most beautiful." You get things like this, and it's like, you know, they want to send you like this thing, this guitar floor multi-effects MIDI controller essentially. And I told the guy, or the first person who emailed me from that, the first person from that company, that I wasn't really interested in doing a review because I don't use pedals. You know, I don't use amplifiers that accept MIDI either usually. So it's like, I just don't need a MIDI foot controller right now. You know, there's no purpose in me having it other than to give it away, if I was going to give something like that away. So I shot him back an email and said, you know, I don't want to review it, but if you want to send me one as a giveaway, I'll do a giveaway on my channel. So, you know, that will get you some exposure for what it's worth. It's like, I'm not going to do a review, though, because I just don't use pedals. It's funny. So that person did not get back to me, but somebody under another name, a Chinese name, got back to me and started all over from the beginning. So they sent me the greetings. We love loving your video. So it's just, they just ignored what, you know, basically ignored me, and then started over, hoping for a different result. I just thought that was kind of comical. Also saw this, somebody sent me, let me see, actually I want to give credit where credit's due here. Sometimes I forget to do that. Joseph Simmons, thank you for sending me this. You guys know my penchant for, you know, collecting silver and gold coins and stuff like that from time to time in the past. So when he sent me this, I thought this was kind of neat. 2019 Cook Islands Woodstock guitar pick shaped silver coin. This, in fact, might be the first guitar pick in history that happened to be legal tender for a nation on the world. So on the earth, globe, on the globe, or in the world. You can't say in the globe. And why? Because a globe would be a spherical object in the air, which makes no sense. But yeah, they want like $69.95 for this pick. So really that puts things into perspective. You know, it makes the Forever picks look pretty cheap by comparison. They also made this in gold. The problem is, if you look at the silver one, for instance, you know, it's only a 1/4 ounce of silver, which is what, worth like, what is silver? A spot price now is like, what, 16, 17 bucks maybe? And so, you know, a 1/4 of that is what? They also have an AC/DC, one of these, which I thought was kind of neat. But yeah, as far as I know, this is the first time in history that a country has made a guitar pick actual legal tender. So you could pay your taxes in these. Now, if only I could pay in plastic picks. You know? All right, so that'll do it for the news. Thought I might show you guys some of the things I've gotten recently at Goodwill's. So I picked up some records at Goodwill. Here's one of them. This band called Stars. And I had actually seen their records before, but I'd never actually picked one up, so this was my first experience with them. I did listen to one side of this album so far, and I like it. I kind of dig it. It's you know, it's just old school, you know, straight up 70s rock. Kind of no frills. Good lead guitarist. They had this one too. So I've got some cool stuff there to go through. Got a couple of Jackson Browne albums, neither of which I had. I think this one's a live one, and then This one here is a regular album. Got this thing. It's like from a local radio station, LRS. What is it? LRS 102. It's like a Louisville radio station. And if you put the W at the front of it, WLRS, it was like, I think their mascot was a walrus, WLRS. But that's like a compilation album. Maybe check out some of that stuff. This is in good shape, and it's a double album. This is called One Night Stand, a Keyboard Event. And this has a lot of different artists, various artists. Let's see who all. George Duke on piano, Herbie Hancock, Stanley Clarke. Just a lot of people like this on. So I think this is probably going to be a good album. And like I said, it's a double album. They had a Wes Montgomery album there, I almost got, but it was kind of in bad shape, so I just left it behind. Got this Heart album as well. And usually, at Goodwill's, you really don't find much anymore. And this guy had a whole stack of vinyl behind the counter in a cart. And I was like, hey man, are you about to put those vinyl out? And he was like, yeah, they've all been tagged and they're ready to go out. I was like, well, do you mind pushing it just kind of over here so I can look through them? And he was like, oh man, can't do that. I was like, why can't you do? What am I going to do? Grab a stack of vinyl records and run out the door or something? I don't understand it. It's like if you're standing right here by me, why? I didn't get it. So I was probably kind of rude to the guy because I was like, I just kind of turned away. I was just like disgusted. I was like, are you fucking kidding me, man? You're the only one out here and you're going to stand on like store policy or something? Like you're standing right here by me. You know what I mean? Now granted, he had another person he was checking out and another person trying to get his attention. So there were like 3 different forces there, but I was going to be right by him, so I didn't really understand it, and it kind of ticked me off, to be honest. But I went back like the next day out with my wife. She wanted to go anyway, so we went back over there. I asked the lady who was behind the counter to show them to me, and she did. And I was going through them, and lots of Kiss stuff, lots of Led Zeppelin. What all did they have? Shit, they had a couple Rush albums. Some pretty good stuff. They had stuff that was like stuff I would actually listen to. One of the Led Zeppelin albums was the Song Remains the Same soundtrack. So it was like I think it was a triple disc thing. And the discs weren't in great shape, so I passed on it. Plus they wanted $10.99 for it, so I was like, man, that's probably about what I would get on, or about what I would buy one for, on Discogs or something, maybe. So I passed on that. But I opened it up. It was funny, and it had a bunch of weed in it sprinkled in the spine of the gatefold. There was somebody's weed in there. There was actually a plastic baggie and like some stems and shit. It wasn't actual weed, but it was like the remnants, like maybe a tiny bit of shake was in there too. Just funny. Also got this thing. This is a little guitar amp. It was at Goodwill. This is a K. I don't know what is this? Starter Series guitar amp. So this probably would have come in a package, with a guitar. Just a little solid state thing. But it's actually fairly solidly built. It's like, it feels hefty. What is that, a 6-inch 10-watt 4-ohm speaker? K labeled, but it's probably, I don't know, Panasonic, something like that maybe. But yeah, for $8. Because you never see guitar amps either. You hardly see guitar stuff. You do see musical instruments. You'll find really odd musical instruments. In fact, I got this thing. This thing is cool. It looks like almost like a butcher block or something. That's kind of what I thought it was at first. But then I saw the mallets that it came with, and I saw the cuts. You get the idea. I think I gave like $4 or $5 for that thing. Also found some pretty good gig bags too recently. Found this gig bag. This is nice and padded. It's got some good pockets on the front. Pretty nice actually. It's got a handle here, a handle here. It's got this handle. It's also a backpack with really nice kind of plush straps. What does that say? $8? $8.99? Yeah, this one's actually really nice. This one's not bad at all. It's a Ritter. Nice pocket there. This is a big pocket on the front right there. Not quite as plush as that last one, but it's still, you know, pretty decent. I would say that one, this one is in between quality-wise, and then there's this one. Pretty cheap, but I gave $5 for this one and that one. This had a strap, but I took it off and was using it for something else. But yeah, those are some recent Goodwill finds. Alright guys, that'll do it for Shitpost Friday. Hope you have enjoyed this one. If you have, hit subscribe down below, and we'll see y'all later.